Dudes, let's see what's in this package. Huh? What the Okay, this is certainly a unique way of packaging things. But, open, you POS! Open! And holy hell. How did this thing manage to survive? Oh wait, no, never mind. Dog. What's up, you guys? So today we're doing a tour review on the Jurassic World Rebirth Hammond Collection Mutadon. Now, this figure is a bit perplexing, because for one, it's a Mutadon, and realistically, who cares about this thing? And second of all, for whatever reason, this thing didn't really get officially released. Well, it did, but let me explain. So, basically, it didn't ever go up for pre-order, which is understandable because in the Beyond the Gates episode, the Indominus Rex and the other two small figures were shown in the episode. But for whatever reason, they put the Mutadon on the Beyond the Gates area in the Target page, but it didn't have a listing. And somehow people managed to get their hands on it in the UK. I don't really know how that happened. But, yeah, so now we have it here, and somehow people are getting this thing in America. I don't know how. I had to get mine off of eBay. So, grand total, like 40 or so bucks later, here we are with the Hammond Collection Mutadon. So, right off the bat, this thing is just... because, it's a Mutadon. Not to mention, the box looks quite crowded in there, because, this thing has interchangeable arms, which, Anyways, so here we have a render of the Mutadon, which looks terrible. And honestly, I don't know what looks worse, the render or the actual figure itself. And here we have the side of the box with the Mutadon. When Ruben Delgado and his family desperately hide for cover in a gas station, the Mutadons are fiercely unpredictable and unrelenting while searching for them. So, yeah, these things essentially take place of the Raptors in Rebirth. In fact, I think they've killed... In fact, the Rebirth Raptors only got a grand total of, like, 10 or so seconds of screen time because one of the Mutadons ended up killing one of them and the other one ran away. So, that's nice. And here we have the back of the box where somehow the figure looks slightly better here than it does anywhere else. And here in the corner we have the others. So, yeah, and mine's box is not necessarily in the best condition. And, so, thanks eBay seller for packaging my Mutadon so tightly. Anyways, let's just get this thing out. And, yeah. Okay, they've packaged the tail inside the little plastic thingy. But, good golly, there's a bit of a tail kink. And, okay, it's fine. I won't try to get too angry about it. And, good golly. This is quite a lot. Let's just get the wings out first, and then we'll worry about the tail. There's one. Which, damn, that's two. And then, three. Alrighty, these wings are horrible, to say the least. But, we'll get into that in a bit. Now let's get the main prize out. Alrighty, so I will be back momentarily once this thing is like tested by me. Alrighty, and we're back, and just don't know what to say about this figure. It is genuinely that weird. We're gonna get some of the glaring issues out of the way immediately. First of all, its design. I mean, good freaking golly, man. Now, I can't really bash the figure for his design because it is a Mutadon, and by design, the Mutadons don't look the best. I mean, as we can see in the render, it looks atrocious. The head looks quite small, and the body is unusually fat. And thankfully, they've thinned this guy down a little bit. And not to mention, why are the thighs so small? I mean, for crying out loud, these... I don't know. The thighs just look unreasonably small compared to the rest of the body. I don't know if it's... I can't really tell... I can't really tell if the thighs are supposed to be this small or not, but the thighs are ridiculously small. And not to mention the tail kink, which is purely the fault of whoever decided that the packaging was acceptable. But yeah. I mean, overall, the figure's paint scheme looks fine. You know, I like the colors. I just wish that it wasn't on the Mutadon because, you know, this thing is gross and it sucks. But this figure does have something that none of the other small Hammond collection figures have. It has an actual jaw joint. Yes, it does. Yes, finally, after like 3 years, after 4 years of the Hammond collection being a thing. Great, now I can't open the mouth. The jaw joint is finally normal. Now, what do I mean by this? Hang on. Ever since the line started, the Hammond collection figures in the small size range have had this type of joint. It's like a pin hinge joint. Pretty much the hinge joints that we have for all the other points of articulation on the body. And it doesn't necessarily look the best. I mean, it works, but it doesn't really work too well. However, the attack pack figures, or I guess now they're called frenzy packs, back in the day, they had this kind of jaw joint where they had the headpiece, they had a separate mouthpiece, and they attached it onto the neck piece. And that just looks a lot more natural. It just... Yeah, compare this to that, and it's clear that there's definitely a winner here. And thankfully, they finally did that for this... Sorry. They did that for this figure. But, two things about this. One, I'm pretty sure they only did this because they were forced to, because since this animal is, you know, quite horrible and ugly, and since the neck was so fat, they literally had no other option but to just use that jaw joint. And as you can see, this is the max range, which, I mean, I guess I expected because, you know, this thing's neck is so fat that doesn't even have another joint. It just has the one. But overall, it's kind of bad that that's the only amount of range it gets. I will say they at least did decide to paint the mouth, which is something that not even the Dilophosaurus has. No hate to the Hammond collection of Dilophosaurus though. That thing will still remain my favorite. And these wings, I will put them on later. Yeah, they need to find a way to package these things. They need to find a way to package these wings a lot better, because, good golly, this is downright unacceptable. But we will put them on in a little bit. We just need to take a look at the figure first. So, for articulation, the jaw can open and close. The neck is on a ball joint. It can move around a bunch. It can move left and right, up and down. And can even rotate a full 360, surprisingly. Although, then again, maybe not so, because, you know, the fat design. The arms can move up and down and rotate a full 360, and so can the fingers, which I really do like that. I do like that the fingers can move. The legs can rotate a little bit. I wouldn't say a full 360 because of the arms, Although I guess technically if you move them out of the way, still not really. And the legs can spread in and out. The knees can move up and down and rotate a full 360. So can the ankles, the gigantic ankles, and the feet. Tail's on a ball joint, can move around a little bit. And the tail has a wire inside, which if you guys have stuck around for pretty much all my reviews, you would know I hate bending the wires. The wires inside the small figure tails are metal, and metal can fatigue easily, and what that means essentially is if you bend it too much, it will break. And trust me, I've experienced that before, and it is not nice. But yeah, let's take a look at this figure with the wings on. And I'm back, and thankfully I've made the wings slightly more normal. Just hit them with a hairdryer and put them under cold water for a little bit. Anyway, so let's just remove the arms now. And, let's get that one on. Okay, and then this other one. Yes. And let's get the... Come on, get in there. Alrighty. And here it is with the open winged arms. And, oh, I missed that entirely. Oh well, I guess. And definitely looks okay. Honestly, I would say that the closed wing one is a bit better. But I mean, honestly, that's just me. Again, the fingers can move a little bit. Unfortunately now they can't move down as much because they're limited with the sculpt of the wing. But, yeah. The open wings just look incredibly goofy, and, yeah, I don't really like them too much. And honestly, my only real gripe with the closed wings is the fact that the membrane of the wing is very short whenever it's on the elbow. And on here, whenever the wing is extended, it's like, it suddenly grows. Which, yes, I understand this is a figure of a completely fictional dinosaur, so creativity is bound to peek into its figures. But I'm just saying, if this were really the case where if its arm was like, you know, where, you know, if its arm wasn't extended and this were the case, if it did extend its arm, this would tear. And I don't think a Mutadon could function properly with a torn wing or torn wings. But, yeah, I'll see you guys in the next video, and, goodbye. Okay, now that I'm out, where the hell are Darcy and Barnaby? What? Who was he talking about? Oh, hey there, viewer. You know too much of our plan.